Hi guys, I wanted to share with y'all what I'm going to do with the little baseball softball panel bar that I made. And there's so many wonderful little things that you can do with this guy. It's small enough, as you can see. It's just a little over, just a little under 4 inches. And he's about an inch tall. So it's the perfect little size if you want to do a bracelet. If you don't want the giant cuffs, you can do a little bracelet. You could do a little necklace bar. You'd have the necklace chains hanging from here. You could do an anklet. You could fold it over and you could put a little key fob on it. You can make a little key fob, something cute. But the way I've done this one is I'm going to make it into a bracelet. And when I created this, the back I used just regular felt, and that's why it's nice and soft. I've already gone through and used my lighter, and you just go around and gently singe, any extra threads or anything like that are around, and that makes the sides nice and smooth. Now I use wash away Badge Master on mine, and so if I wanted to, I could just dunk the edges in some water, and that would take care of it too. But that's the quick and easy way to do it, is just to get a lighter and get those hanging threads and things that are hanging around that shouldn't be. Also, when you go through and you clip all these little jump stitches in between there, this one I'm not going to because it's small enough that I don't really notice it. But if it were larger and I needed to clip the jump threads, I would just slice it right through the middle of the thread, and then you take the lighter and then just gently, quickly run it over the name, and it singes those threads right up. So then you don't see them. They're not sticking out and unsightly. So what I've laid out today are some different little doodads that I use for necklaces and bracelets and all kinds of things. So I thought I'd share them with you and let you know, what I do, and what you can do. There's lots of different clasps you can use. There's large toggle clasps. These are really great if you have kind of dexterity issues, or you don't like finagling with the little tiny spring clasps. Those are pretty difficult for me, so I use the toggles. This would be more for a necklace. This is more for a bracelet or an anklet. And then you have like your extender chains. You can make those yourself, or you can buy them. You can also use ball chain, which is great. I know all my 80s and 90s babies, 70s, 80s, and 90s babies will know exactly what this is and all the things that we've used it for. And then you can also, use some beads. I found these awesome little baseball beads, oh gosh, years and years ago, and bought a ton of them, and that's all that I have left. And then I have these cute little, I don't know, beads with little, I don't even know what they are. They're just little holes that are reflective, so they look like there's little diamonds or something in them, but they're just little plastic things, and they're really cute and fun. And then I also have multicolored jump rings. How cool is that? So they're not that expensive, but as you can see, you don't get a whole lot for what you buy. So I mostly just use the silver tone or the gold tone ones, and go from there. There's also swivel clasps. Those are great for lots of things. That way your jewelry doesn't get twisted. Then you have like the chunkier pieces, your lobster claws, the large and the small. Those are great too for dexterity issues. Excuse me, the spring ring is probably going to be the hardest, but it's also the most common that you'll find. So anyway, so this is just a little bit of what I have. And there's a couple ways that you can, make this. You can do just a simple punch. And this is the one that I use. It's called a Euro punch, and it's 1.25 millimeters. I'm assuming that's what it says. I've used it so much that it's coming off. But it's just got these little teeny tiny little pokies there that poke right through, and they're wonderful. And then you can buy refills for them, which I've not had to use. I have plenty of them, but have not had to use them, and they're super simple to replace. So I use those, especially for my earrings. Use those, and those are great. So let's start with that. In the file, you'll see that there are placement stitches for where you want to poke. If you're using this, you probably don't want to use the placement stitches because obviously you'll be able to see them. But I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to show you how to put in the eyelets. So I just find the placement, and I just go kind of right in the middle of the hole and just pop it through, and it just comes right out the back. So then you got a little hole in there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, handmade things aren't perfect, so it works out okay. So let's pretend that the stitches aren't there. Okay, so just pretend those aren't there. Now, once you have that, you can do a couple of things. If you have the larger jump rings, oh, there's some leftover something that fell out of there. If you have the larger rings, sorry, not jump rings, these are just continuous rings that I clip, and they tend to work pretty well. I have no idea where I got them because I got them so long ago. I'm just going to hook it in there like that. And then you can just do a quick solder back together, and it's perfect. If you don't have it, of course, you can use a large jump ring, split ring, anything you want really to go in there. But this is just, I'm just showing you, so it's not going to stay like that. But anyhow, you can add that on there. You can do a smaller one. Now I'm out of my little silver large jump rings. This is the one I use for that. And that one's a little bit more secure. You can just see the difference there in those. But anyhow, so you can do either one of those, or you can just do small ones. You can do a chain. You can just add the toggle right onto the end, whatever you want to do. We're going to use this little guy, and normally I wouldn't mix the silver and the gold, but you know, it's all right. All right, so pretending that's silver, we've got that end on. And obviously that's going to be the receiving end. And this end over here, I'm actually going to put a smaller ring on. I don't think I have any because I've been using these split rings. And these are really, really great because they're super secure, but they don't work for everything. So things that I need something stronger, I definitely use the split rings, and they're great. So for now, we're just going to use another gold one. And this one, this end, I'm actually going to put on an extra little chain extender, because when you add the little toggle clasp on the end of it and you put it around your wrist, you obviously want some extra give there. Now, obviously my wrist is not this small, but again, this is just for demonstration purposes. So you're going to want a longer chain there, but let's just pretend that it's longer, and we're going to add this little guy here. So we'll put him there, and then I'll put this one here. Look, my eyesight is not what it used to be, so if you're at home laughing, I don't want to hear it. All right, so we've got a little toggle clasp on there, and when you put it around your wrist, you just simply stick that through and pull it, and then you're all set. So then you have a cute little bracelet. Now, obviously, if you were actually wearing this, you would need a longer chain. You also may want to consider doing a couple little extra loops. If you wanted to maybe hook it on with a lobster clasp, you could do that. You would just need a couple extra loops if you want to adjust it, you know, here, there, and everywhere. But anyhow, so that's kind of a quick and dirty on how to do that. So I'm going to take these apart, and then I'm going to show you how I do the eyelets. So let's push these little guys out of the way because we're not going to need that. All right, so we have this handy dandy tool, and I think it came from Harbor Freight forever ago, and it's really not sharp anymore, so I kind of have to work with it, but that'll be okay. So the placement stitches are exactly 5/32 of an inch, and most little jewelry eyelets, these are just plastic. They're, I mean, you can get metal ones or whatever, but this is the size that I use the most. So I find that that's the easiest size for other people too. And obviously that's not the actual inside, that's where the stitch is. So we're going to want to cover that stitch line completely, and you can just kind of look on each side and make sure that you've covered it. And once you have, you gotta push down really hard. Again, mine seriously needs to be sharpened, but lucky for me, I have these beautiful little scissors that work just as well. So, and then you may still be able to see a little tiny bit of the stitching, but that's just because my cutter is gross and it doesn't actually cut all the way. So just ignore that. Normally you wouldn't see that. You can always cut it out. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. So we'll do that side, and then let's do the other side. Oh, that one sounded pretty good. That's very satisfying when you hear that click, because you know that it went through all the layers. Okay, it doesn't mean it actually cut it, but you know. All right, so we've got our little holes there, which are great. And then we take our little eyelet and just put them in there, and it fits perfectly right in the hole. Then I have this other little tool. Now there's a little adapter that goes on this one, but I prefer this one. This was my grandmother's, and then my mother had it. It's made by Dritz, and so it's like, I don't know, 50 years old. I don't really know, but 50 sounds like a good number. So I tend to like this one so much more. It's a little squeaky, but I think it does a really great job. You don't want to pull it too, you don't want to smush it too tight, because then you'll be able to see the rim on the other side, and you don't want that. So we'll put the other guy in. Oh, look at that. Perfect fit. And put that there. Give it a little smush. Smushy, smushy. And look how cute that is. I absolutely love eyelets. I think they're so much fun. So now, once you have those in, you can, this is where it gets fun. You can do, I have my rolls of ribbon on the wall right here. You can do ribbon. You can do all kinds of fun little things. Look, I put that in the wrong way. You can use ribbon. You can use chain, you can use ball chain, and this is great because you can adjust this. So you just kind of put it through like that, and then you can put it on your wrist however you want. And then this is really hard with one hand. All right, anyway, you get the point. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to tie this with one hand. So anyway, you can use ribbon. I love ball chain. You can do that. And you can do kind of that same concept where it kind of follows the shape. So then you'd add your little toggly thingy here and then put it on like that, and it would lay flat on that. So there's some ideas of what you can do. If you wanted to make it into a necklace, you would just add your, well, let's pretend this chain is longer. You would just add this onto here. I don't know what I did with there. Just add this onto here like so. And then you have something a little sturdier, you know, to put it on. Anyway, so we'll just pretend that that's longer. I didn't even close that up. Just pretend that it's longer. You'd add a couple of jump rings there, and then your chain would come up that way, and you could wear it like that. So there's some different ideas. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day.